Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Playbook. Now that the preview for all the Sunday day games are over, we just have Sunday Night Football, which is Minnesota at Dallas. So let's check out how they match up. Starting off, you have Dallas favored on the money line with a spread of 5.5 and a total line of 47.5. Here's all their seasonal averages, and we can compare those to the rankings. Going through Minnesota's, their offensive rankings are pretty poor, with a scoring ranking of 27, a passing rank of 29, and a rushing rank of 24. And then a tight end rank of 31. And then defensively, it's a little bit closer to average with an allowed scoring rank of 12, and they're fourth best at defending the pass. And then their allowed rushing rank is 23. With Dallas, you have a pretty good offense with a scoring rank of 3, a passing rank of 1, a rushing rank of 15, and then a tight end rank of 18. And they have to be good offensively to make up for their defense, which is pretty bad, with an allowed scoring rank of 31, an allowed passing rank of 32, and an allowed rushing rank of 21. Looking into the individual data, and starting with quarterbacks, you have J.J. McCarthy and Dak Prescott, with McCarthy averaging 12.2 fantasy points per game, and Prescott averaging just under 20. Here's their seasonal averages, and their week-by-week numbers if you need them. And for their turnovers this season, you have McCarthy with 10 interceptions, and 1 fumble due to a sack. And you have Prescott with the exact same number, with 10 interceptions and 1 fumble loss due to a sack. Just taking a look at how they impact their team's rushing game, you have McCarthy with about 10.7% of the rushing carry share, and about 11.1% of the rushing yard share. And you have Prescott with about 13.3% of the rushing carry share, and 9% of his team's 9% of the team's rushing yard share. And then next we have the running backs, which are Aaron Jones and Javonte Williams, with Aaron Jones getting about 9.2 fantasy points per game, and Williams getting about 16.1. Flipping over to their seasonal averages, and for turnovers this year, Aaron Jones has 1 receiving fumble, and Williams has 1 rushing fumble and 1 receiving fumble that he lost. In terms of their share, you have Aaron Jones with 30% of the rushing carry share and 30% of the rushing yard share, and that's pretty small because he was out during that period, and that's why you have Jordan Mason with a much larger portion, so that will probably continue to grow over time as he stays healthy. And then you have Williams here with 65% of the rushing carry share and 67.6% of the rushing yard share. For your receivers, you have Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, with Jefferson averaging 12.1 fantasy points per game, and Lamb averaging about 18. Once again, switching over the averages, and since there's no turnovers, we'll switch right over to the charts, so go ahead and pause if you need to look through this. But moving into their share, you have Justin Jefferson with about 32% of the target share, and about 35% of the receiving yard share, which does make him the largest target, and has the most rushing yards on the season for the team. CeeDee Lamb has about 19.6% of the target share and 24% of the receiving yard share, once again being a little smaller because he was out for a few weeks in there. For your number 2 receivers, you have Jordan Addison and George Pickens, with Addison getting about 10.8 fantasy points per game, and George Pickens just under 19. Flipping it over to your seasonal averages, and again with no turnovers, we'll just go right over to the charts, where you have Addison at 20.5% of the target share and 22% of the receiving yard share, making him definitely the second most utilized receiver. And you have Pickens over here at 25% of the target share and 32.6% of the receiving yard share. And that is the largest for Dallas, and that's because he was the number 1 for several of those weeks in there while CeeDee Lamb was out. And these charts need to be fixed, but they were meant to show you kind of where you get better performance versus worse performance over the season. Finishing the player data with tight ends, you have TJ Hockenson and Jake Ferguson. Hockenson averaging about 7.8 fantasy points per game, and Ferguson at about 13.1. Moving over to their seasonal averages, and this year Hockenson has no turnovers, but Jake Ferguson has 2 receiving fumbles. And then for their share, you have Hockenson with 17.6% of the target share, and about 16% of the receiving yard share, and then you have Ferguson at about 19.8% of the target share, and 15.3% of the receiving yard share. So there's all your individual data. It does seem like this game is really going to be about how well Dallas can do, especially on this passing game against the number 4 pass defense team. Because the big thing Minnesota's going to have to do is to really score on this really bad defense. But even a scoring rank at 27 and this passing rank at 29, they're not super great numbers. So they have to do a lot to keep up with a pretty good offense here, especially with this really top scoring rank of 3. So that's why I would lean for Dallas in this game, especially being at home. But that's just what our numbers are suggesting. So we'll see what happens on the field. And that's it for Sunday Night Football. I hope that you got something out of it and it was useful. And if it was, leave a like and subscribe. And leave a comment on what other data you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for Monday Night Football.